skip to my MMA.
We roll. We racing. Let's go, mama.
Let's have a picture. Krzysiek, zrobisz nam zdjęcie?
Really, I have so much respect to you, but please face the best.
Gold medal? Only Triple C has gold. All you kids can do me a favor? You guys can all find me the Triple C.
Do I know Khabib? Yes, I've met him multiple times. We are very close. What is going on with Tony Ferguson? I suspect that Tony Ferguson versus Khabib is going to happen March or April, and I'm hearing that New York City is being discussed. Where is Dana White? I'm not sure. Maybe in Las Vegas. Conor's legacy is and will always be more entertainment-based than talent and accomplishment-based. Let's argue. I think it's a little bit ridiculous. How can you deny the run that he had from 2013 to 2016? I mean, like this idea that Conor hasn't accomplished anything or got easy fights, like the revisionist history is absurd. The last 3 years have not been good. Obviously, he hasn't won a fight, but the 3 years prior to that were incredible. And it's okay to say both things. It's okay to say the first half was good and the second half wasn't good. But let's not get crazy that he was just all entertainment based, all hype. Come on. Did Rose unretire? I don't think she ever retired. She said she was going to take a break, and thus far she hasn't talked about, her next steps. But I would be surprised if we never see her fight again. I'll leave it at that. You think Frankie Edgar versus McGregor happens next year? That's what they want. UFC doesn't want it. UFC doesn't think that it's a good matchup, but Frankie wasn't joking. Excuse me. Well, Frankie obviously wants it, but Conor wasn't joking when he said he wanted it. So push comes to shove. I think it's a bit of a long shot, to be honest, but there's definitely smoke to that fire, contrary to what Chael Sonnen says. What are the pay-per-view locations for early next year? The only one I know is March in Las Vegas as of right now. Izzy or Jon Jones? How much fun is Izzy and Jon Jones? I like this back and forth. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think that they're going to be holding them off. I think next year, this time next year, I think it makes a little more sense to revisit. But the back and forth between them is so much fun. It is a little weird that Jon, the higher weight guy, is calling out the lower weight guy. Kind of should be the opposite, but it's a fun back and forth. I'm enjoying it. Love you, bro. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Do you think Tony Ferguson versus Khabib is happening this year? No, next year. Is Khabib fighting once a year enough? I feel like if this was Conor, he'd be getting abused for holding up the division. Well, he had the suspension, so they did the interim belt. So, not necessarily his fault.
Marlon, it's been a few months. I know that a disappointing result for you last time out. Just kind of wanted to find out, where your head's at and what you've been up to since June.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back, I lost my last fight. I had a tough loss. It was hard to digest, but we gotta get back, If you want to fight, you have to fight through adversities. And I feel good. I feel healthy now, and I'm ready. Just waiting for Ali and the UFC, and we already asked for a fight. The fight I want is fight Jose Aldo, and we're trying to make it happen. And let's see. And if he wants, my side's yes, and we're gonna bring the show, and it's gonna be a great fight. And thank you, Ali, Rob, and Tyson, to have us all here.
I know that, probably after a loss like that, you're trying to move forward, and then you get stuck in a room with the guy that beat you. Is it awkward being around him, or difficult? I mean, he makes everybody cringe. Does he make you cringe?
Yeah, definitely. But my friend, I'm a fighter. I lost in a fight, and I don't want to embarrass myself. And I had the chance, I didn't do it there. Why I'm gonna will to do now, I gotta just get back, train hard, get better, and have another shot. I don't know if it's gonna be against him. I don't know if he will still be there, but I'm gonna get there again.
I think it is very telling how Jon Jones is reacting to Adesanya. I don't think they're very similar, though. I don't see many similarities in their style. I think their physicality is very similar. I think, the reach advantage they have over most opponents is very similar, but their fighting style is not so much. I would actually say that Rob Whittaker's fighting style is more like Jon Jones in the way that he picks and pokes and kind of works at people consistently. I think Jon Jones has got a far more active style, and I think he also fights in ranges where his opponents are stronger. I think whereas Israel Adesanya always brings his A game to the fight, Jon Jones is flexible, he's adaptable, he'll fight in any different range depending on how he feels like he wants to be challenged. Is he moving up to fight Jon Jones? He's just not going to work out for him. He's just not big enough. Everything that Adesanya does, I feel like Jon Jones can beat him to the punch with the reach advantage, the height advantage. I feel like anything that Jon Jones lands would be more significant given the fact that he's a bigger, stronger athlete. I think the smart thing for Adesanya to do is to stay at middleweight for now. There's plenty of guys there to fight. There are plenty of things that he needs to prove before he even needs to think about going up to light heavyweight. I do think he would need to add some muscle to his frame in order to do that.
And my analysis is by no means saying that I think Jon Jones is the better fighter. I think that he does do a lot of things better than Adesanya does. I think the wrestling and the groundwork are probably the two that stand out. Their styles are so different, their skill sets are so different, it's hard to really say who's the better striker. Adesanya might be the better striker. They're very, very different approaches for sure. I don't know which one's more effective. When I was fighting Jon, I never felt like he was stronger than me. I fought as high as heavyweight before and as low as 170. I've been in there with a lot of strong guys. I've trained with a lot of strong guys. I've been in there with Stipe and Verdum in the training rooms. He didn't feel strong. He's really heavy. And I know that sounds kind of silly. He distributes his weight differently than other people do. He just always feels when he's touching you, he's just heavy. And he's hard to get off of you when you're in the clinch. He uses it, even though he's so long in the clinch, he uses his leverage there really effectively. So what I don't want is for everyone to go and say that Dan Hardy and Anthony Smith said that Jon Jones is way better than Adesanya, because that's how it's going to end up coming out. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I think Jon Jones is better than Israel Adesanya. I'm saying I don't think in this current moment that Israel Adesanya can beat Jon Jones in an MMA match. And that has nothing to do with skill set or ability.